shutting down Reina several times actually was really cool. So for now, CE, they're going to take us to the map. BTG opting for first pick. They're going to take us to Tomb of the Spider Queen.
My favorite map. Not everybody might agree with it, but I'm loving it.
My favorite is Towers, but I still do very much like this map because it leaves us open to some less than common picks, which is always welcome.
Still waiting for my first brah moment in HGC China. Haven't seen him in a while.
This season, very surprised. We've seen Novas and known Zebos.
Yes. I mean, Towers of Doom would have been great, but it was banned out, unfortunately, by Beyond the Game, because that was the one map, the one time during regular season play in which we saw Z bust out the Nova and win with it.
So now then, let's see what we get for BTG here. What shall be the first ban? Wave clear on this map is very important. Chromie also very much jumps up in priority here.
Oh, absolutely. Chromie, we have seen two ways of, two ways of building her these days. One of them is China exclusive, the full W build with Mobius loot at level 7 for the wave clears, for the pressure against Hammer. I don't think we're going to see it here, though. I mean, the Chromie, sure, but not this build.
I think you might be right, but we can always see perhaps a little bit of variety if they wish. For now, with Phoenix banned out, Reina once again also jumps a little bit higher in priority.
Rainer, man. Rainer is...
Rainer, man.
I'm very happy with the point, like with the state of Jimmy right now. True, he might still be a little bit powerful in certain situations, but numbers can be tweaked. The rework itself, I think, in terms of how his talents work now, how his Rainer works now, I think is really competitive, really nice. And if some of the talents, maybe the level 1 and maybe the 16 heal, get tweaked here and there, I think he's a mighty fine hero. Already, he's such a big difference.
And doing immediately what I asked for, seeing the Yarel coming in here over the Blaze, going for that little bit of extra rotational and CC ability as they bring out the Diablo as well for win. CE, throwing in that variety.
Absolutely amazing. They basically did what you were asking for. Blaze wasn't even banned by the enemy team. They just switched it up, although it would have been a great map for Blaze, mind you. You know, Blaze is really good on Tomb. Strong wave clear, strong rotations, but Irel can do exactly that. And I think in a longer, like one-man, 1-versus-1 laning phase that we could see in the bottom lane sometimes on Tomb, the Irel is definitely going to have the upper hand.
The Malthael coming in here with the Hanzo. Lots of extra pressure potentially available to be added here in terms of burning through that Diablo health pool, especially if Hanzo can live long enough to get to that percentage damage scatter arrow talent, and then if he can get some good angles, Diablo just melts.
That is correct, man. Diablo, like we've seen that many times today, actually, Tetra, haven't we? Where Diablos, you know, they end up casting the lightning breath, but it's not enough zoning, it's not enough damage to really, you know, keep heroes like Malthael or Tychus away, and they're just going to get sprayed and melted down because they can't move during the lightning breath unless they cancel it. So now then,
we see the Decade Cane being removed. Map Fury already on the board, makes sense for BTG, and healing is also a big pain for the Malthael. Reina for CE, and Alex Straza coming in.
Rainer it is for CE. While their wave clear right now is still a little low, they can definitely work on that by picking a mage. Jaina is still available. Even a Gul'dan could come in, although he's so unpopular in China, unfortunately. But the Rainer already is super good. Also, when it comes to, you know, reinforcing these Wet Weaver pushes, you know, with a Hyperion, additional structure damage could be really sweet. The attack speed buff also goes for minions, and the Wet Weaver minions, super good.
Tychus and a Garrosh. Very percentage damage heavy team here. Good engage.
There's the wave clear.
And Junkrat comes in here as the final pick.
That skin creeps me out every single time. I just noticed that it was actually Gaslow controlling arms and legs. I thought he, like before that, I always thought he used his own arms, but of course, Goblin arms are pretty short.
Yeah, I mean, I made that mistake, I'm pretty sure, yesterday, where they picked it, and I was like, oh my god, oh, it's Junkrat.
Yes.
Got so confused.
All right.
Does that skin have a different voice actor, or is it still just normal Junkrat?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it's still the normal Junkrat voice actor. I'm not sure if it's Gazlowe or any other Goblin voice once you pick that skin.
I'm going to have to check that because I think it's Chris Parson who voice acts Junkrat normally. And I assume he could probably do it like a pretty decent Goblin voice.
Yeah. It's confirmed. Same actor, just modified, says someone in
Hooray!
chat. There we go.
Fair enough. Thanks, team.
I think the same is with Johanna, right? When she picks up the Orc skin, you still have like a deeper voice, but it's still the same voice lines and voice actors.
Makes sense. Makes sense indeed. Obviously, I'm quite fascinated with voice acting in general, so I like those kind of questions. But the Junkrat, lots of disruption. Junkrat versus Garrosh is always a matchup I love in favor of the Junkrats. The disruption to interrupt Garrosh and just give him a really rough time actually engaging is wonderful.
Absolutely true. I couldn't agree more. Junkrat in general is just such a fun hero to keep track of. You know, the amount of mayhem and chaos he brings to those team fights, sometimes working against his own teammates, is definitely a pleasure to behold. For now, though, we're going to take a look at the teams, though, who, too, are a pleasure to behold for the most part, especially this one, CE, the current China champions from the previous phase, with a Lufel on that Rainer this time. Wind is playing the Diablo, 365 on Alex Strasser, KTY on the Urel, and Juyu plays Junker.
And on the other side, on the right-hand side, it is Beyond the Game with 619 on Garrosh, LLK on Malthael, Druid on Malfurion, Dancing on one of his favorite Hanzo, and 3 bringing out the Tychus.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you are in for a treat because if I recall correctly, this is the first time ever we see one of the China star players like Lufel on the Rainer. Don't think he's ever played it in regular season play.
I will confirm that for you, but I believe you are correct in your assumption there, friend. And as such, we're going to see a little bit of uniqueness here. Very few slows outside of Diablo, actually, as well. And maybe
Urel.
A little bit. Urel with her leap and Alex Strasser with her E. Yeah. Otherwise, I guess you can build into slows for Junkrat.
Oh, I mean, you can even build for your own slows as Rainer, right? If you at level 7 go for Unstable Compound, for example, every proc of your trade, every pepper proc, that's a cool word, pepper proc, is going to give you a little bit of a slow. It's only 10%, but it still counts as a slow, which procs your bonus damage from the level 1. My
dear Kendrick, as far as I can tell, you are most certainly correct. CE, since the rework Rainer have not brought it out yet.
That's pretty cool to see. First time we see a very high-skilled player and very celebrated player like Lufel on that hero. Let's see what he can bust out. Already, he's got kind of, you know, big shoes to fill with Olele pulling off a pretty astounding performance on Rainer several times. Now Wind in trouble, gets flung over by 619, ends up falling as well. Not enough damage to get the counter kill onto Garrosh.
Yeah, first blood going over to BTG. By the way, Redemption coming in for Hanzo, so a lot of stacks were just gained there as well with that engage.
Ooh, wait a minute. It's been a while since we last saw this talent.
It has.
Huh. So you need to attack heroes twice, taking a stack. If you accumulate enough stacks, you're going to get attack speed. Interesting.
Burning through that mercenary camp here. Urel comes in and actually is on the point, looking for the interrupt. Here's the rest of CE. 3v2. Tychus forced to back up, barely survives, but the point still under pressure as LLK is doing a great job tanking. Good Junkrat mine though, picks up 1 kill. Looks for more. The Dragon Queen is blocked. This is a great angle for CE. LLK falls back. 619 goes down to Raider. And what a good move here by CE. Great rotations. Literally full 5v5 at 2 minutes.
How did Beyond the Game actually decide to go for an all-out fight here? Not only was that a choke point, but the Dragon Queen was used so early. Tychus was brought down to, I don't know how much HP he had like 50, 100, but he still kept going to attack. You know, this was pretty much a disaster for BTG, because not only did they give up experience, but because of the deaths, they're now not going to be able to defend the towers in the bottom lane anymore. So much experience now handed over to their opponents, and yeah, I'm speechless. I don't know why they did that.
I am also slightly confused, but also very entertained. So we see a good toss onto Wind, who is once again in trouble. Round 2, lovely Roots. Gets a nice overpower onto 619, so he takes a bit of tower damage, but that's another kill on Diablo. And Junkrat goes down to Dancing. 1v1 me.
All right, the Overwatch duel in favor of Hanzo. And with this build, you know, people might laugh at it. People might say, you know, this is not really the meta anymore. You always go for a simple geometry, right? But with this build, you're going to be a slightly better duelist. You know, if you complete it with that attack speed, you're going to be pretty scary, especially for another squishy like the Junkrat. So pretty cool moves by Beyond the Game. They actually got the kill experience back that they lost earlier.
So now KTY mounts up again. He's got 9 gems. A couple of gems, I believe, were dropped by CE with that kill onto Junkrat especially.
Yeah.
So that's going to be quite annoying. Neither team have enough for a turn in yet, though, so it's not so much of a big deal. They're holding it pretty even. We'll see the Behemoth armor coming in for Alufal, by the way. He wants to get that extra tankiness against the heavy tank comp, as we see Garrosh taking a lot of damage, but a good toss onto Urel, who immediately just starts punishing Tychus.
Yeah, and once again, the Garrosh was the focus target for CE, but they simply lacked the percentage damage, the early game pressure to take him down. Sure, the damage was dropped initially, but once he stacks up his armor, like the lower he gets, it's going to be more and more difficult for CE to really, you know, finish the job. And with once again another teamfight looking pretty okay for Beyond the Game, they are getting closer to that first payment. Even the bottom lane is currently dominated by Malthael.
Doing a fantastic job putting on the pressure, with Urel having big issues moving in, but still going to try. There's a nice little knockback onto LLK. It's the first turn of the game happens to go over to BTG.
So let's take a careful look at how much sieging potential Beyond the Game has. The lanes are pushed in okay. Oh, if they get that kill on Ju, that is a disaster. But he jumps out to safety with a great concussion mine. Needs to be careful though. LLK with a flank.
Okay, not going to dive into tower range though, so as such, Zuyu gets away. Nice job there. And as such though, Webweaver's still on the way with Zuyu already weakened. He's able to rotate up the top lane where he's probably going to siege from behind the gate.
Yeah. And as we talked about it earlier, unstable compound for Alufal on that Rainer. Every Pepper Frog is now going to apply a little bit of a movement slow, so he will get that bonus damage coming in from his level 1 here. Already the Dragon Queen being committed, being forced out to defend this middle lane. Can they clear the wet viewers? Absolutely, yes they can.
Yes, they can. Top lane's Webweaver still alive though, as is bot Urel, not well known for her Webweaver clearing ability. Junkrat's doing okay. You can see the one in top lane does go down, but still over half health Webweaver in bot lane. Juju in trouble. Grenade. Nice concussion mine. Keeps himself alive.
Oh, that was so close though. That almost worked out. Even the Hanzo scattershot comes in there to maybe finish the job. Also, we see these sharpened arrowheads to complete this auto attack centric build. So a touch of early 2018, I would say, late 2017 with that build. So more armor production with every auto attack and storm bow that lands.
Lots of damage being traded back and forth between the two teams. We see a full-souled Diablo now. So he's going to be a lot tankier, much harder to kill, as they BTG have killed him off several times. However, it's still no percentage damage. Still going to be a little rough. Juyu is having massive deja vu. Has surprised Urel. Extra 35 armor for Juyu. He is fine.
Still
makes
alive.
it behind his wall.
That's amazing. He escapes death one time after the other with great movement and even better concussion mines.
Yeah, every time we watch him, he seems to survive. Every time we don't, he dies.
Yes.
So we should just permanently follow Juyu if we want CE to win. But either way, we see the shots coming in here, dropping some nice little long-range harassment. It's not that much damage yet, not too many stacks on the grenades and no cannonballs. Over the wall into fort range, has used the Indomitable, which does land tank, turn around Taunt onto Raider and Diablo. Good Dragon Arrow, and this will be wind going down. Rip Souls.
Rip Souls indeed, and although Diablo was sitting at the maximum amount of tankiness here with those Soul Stones, the armor reduction, the great stun, and the overall percentage damage from Malthael as well, that was just too much to handle for the mighty Lord of Terror. Malthael wasn't even there, he was busy taking mercenary camps on the bottom, so I really like this playstyle of Beyond the Game up to this point, you know, how easily they dispose of heroes like the Diablo, for example. Still need to catch Junkrat every now and then, but Diablo is definitely on their list.
Oh, he is 100% on their list, as we do see him burning through the majority of these minions. And right now, once again, for the second game in a row, BTG seem to hold the mid and early game. CE, they need to wait for the opportunity to actually start landing their combo. We're seeing one of our first Banshee Rainers here.
That's correct.
So rare here in HGC China, as we see LLK consistently harassing KTY, having issues here.
Yeah, Lufal needs to control it very carefully, because if the Banshee is getting destroyed, it is going on a 45-second cooldown. Now, look at that, actually. C was posturing so hard, and they were trying so hard to really get this turn-in themselves, but it is their opponents who get turn-in number 2, and as we've seen it so many times before, if you get both turn-ins early on, you might be able to snowball out of control, because right now, Tetcher, forts are going to end up falling.
Yeah, with top fort basically being a foregone conclusion, Yvrel's trying to meet it in lane and begin burning it down, but she does not have the clear speed to prevent that fort from dying, especially with Hanzo coming up to assist this. Dragon Queen burned very early in the mid lane. This is where the main defense of CE will be happening. They know that that bot might clear up itself with the help of Junkrat. Top is almost certainly going to die, so this is the full commitment for them.
And look at Diablo. I think Wind by now is much more conservative on how he engages those team fights. The Livebinder is here, but still, if that percentage damage comes in through with the last rights early on the Malthael, he could be a goner yet again, and they cannot afford to lose anyone. Beautiful stutter stepping, by the way, by Lethal, dodging most of the abilities, especially Garrosh's combo. Did not land this time around. Garrosh, speaking of him, he drops dangerously, though.
That's still allowing them to back up, though. Garrosh tanky enough, thanks to his armor. So it's not so bad, and that's going to be all 3 forts falling. Big XP lead, level 13 now available for BTG. And see, they really need to start getting these turn-ins, because they are starting to hold on to a fair amount of gems. Zhuyu needs to leave. Concussion Mine will be the assistance there. See, it doesn't actually make it over the wall, so dangerous. Yeah. BTG, they let him go.
They let him go for now. They're still not 13. I'm not sure if Wind should try to force this out. They have vision because of the Banshee, but Wind is actually isolated yet again and gets executed immediately.
Riptire was pretty good for some counter damage, but BTG tanking through it. Druid grenade off the wall, deflect, Livebinder on a loophole, but he is just getting absolutely focused. That's 20-something gems he just dropped.
Yeah, they still have enough in their pockets to get that turn in, so that is very crucial. That is very important for CE. They ended up losing the mercenary camp, though, and they also lost 2 members. Now, I struggle to justify this engagement when 13 was so close, right? And the way they engaged, it also didn't look very coordinated, did it?
It didn't. To be fair, the 13 would not be that close if they hadn't killed Val.
That is correct.
So I can see the idea. You're near your own structures is probably the best place to engage. They're fighting something else as well, which makes it even more difficult. It's an interesting fight by CE. Didn't go in their favor, but I can see why they took it.
Now, speaking of taking something, they need to take this turn in right here, right now. That is going to be so clutch by the Nature's Gear, by the way, keeping Garrosh stun-free, but they bought enough time for that White Weaver phase. Now, while this might not get so much damage done immediately, it's great to actually keep those lanes clear for now, right? Jimmy, Lufo trying his best to keep the lanes pushed, because the more your lanes are pushed, the more momentum your White Weavers are going to get.
Loses out on a couple gems, though, due to the rotation to BTG. He would have loved to have picked those up. Banshee scouts out. Yeah, good use of the Banshee here, using it as a vision tool. Very nice here by Alufo.
Like a mini Medivh almost.
A little bit. Medivh, but jet-powered. Or I guess propeller-powered. It is like prop-based. Yes. As we see them moving in through the mid lane. Mid lane is their target. Junkrat once again soloing bot lane, giving them some clear down there.
13 is here, 15 for the enemy team. Dragon Queen being used, so is the Odin, though. Both teams fully committing to this. Nobody is backing out up to this point. The purple White Weaver wave, it 619, feels pretty okay damage, but look at that clearing speed. With Hanzo and the auto attacks and the Odin wave clear, there's nothing for CE to be gained here.
Tower after tower after tower, though, being picked up by CE as they look to the gank onto Malthael, who, like you said, self-cleanses. Going to be able to grab the fountain, do a little bit of damage to bot fort. They don't get any forts, but they picked up a couple more gems. They now have a huge amount on Zhuyu, and they were able to grab some comeback XP. They're now only a full level behind, as opposed to what was about a level and a half.
Man, the moment you don't pay attention to Alufal on that Raynor, he's going to chip down targets like dancing. There was no tomorrow. Raynor, the backline buster, if he doesn't get controlled like that.
Here comes the channeling onto that top area. Dancing, moving forward. The interrupts are happening. Most of the gems, Zhuyu's gems were turned in, though. They're 1 gem away as Zhuyu gets taken down by the chasing arrow and dancing. That auto attack. In comes the absorption from Yrel. Anti-healing, preventing a lot of that healing coming out as KTY is still in serious danger. Blocks the heal, but a beautiful taunt. That is going to be at least 1 kill. Lifebinder keeps KTY alive because he gets the knockback to give himself the good escape route. Tries to mount up with Divine Sea, gets immediately demounted, and he will go down.
Man, can we just say how Dancing on that Hanzo is absolutely crushing it. arrow after arrow with those fast auto attacks. He is decimating and massacring the backline of CE. And it all started with Zhuyu going in a little too deep, going for that one-man flank on the right-hand side. And if that Lifebinder just lands a little bit earlier, then the fight might be a different one. Because of Zhuyu's reckless positioning, though, Alex Strauss was way too far away, so we definitely can't put the blame on 365.
Wind grabs his one gem that his team requires for to turn in, but Malthael is already not only in position, but turning in gems. So he's going to be able to deny this Webweaver wave for CE, while also setting up his team for their next Webweaver wave that will be pushing with the boss. Not great timing here with the boss and the mercenary and the Webweavers, but it's still double pressure.
Unlucky for CE here. That one gem could have made a big difference, actually, as the Webweavers would have defended the other remaining lanes. But as it is right now, Tetra, you said it, the timing between the boss and the Webweavers is not ideal for Beyond the Game. Maybe CE can actually pull this off and defend maybe one, maybe two keeps, because already things are starting to look mighty grim for them.
It's going to be difficult. The Odin being used for defense. Lightning Breath to zone out at least a little bit. He's tanking through it. Riptide gets annihilated thanks to the Dragon Arrow, so that gets cancelled out. Good job stunning out Zhuyu from that. As they continue putting pressure onto the keep, this will 100% go down here. The question is, can they get anything else from it? As 365, that Dragon Queen, one of the best defensive tools, has now expired.
I'm not sure if the bottom Webweaver is going to make it all the way through here, but the middle is definitely in threat now. The middle one needs to be defended. They still have the tower, so that's good news for CE. But beyond the game, they're looking strong. Actually, Last Rites wasn't even used. Warlord's Challenge available as well, but so is the Lifebinder, and so is the Ardent Defender for the defending team CE.
Double Wave continues to pile on the damage, pile on the pressure. And with this Webweaver so low, I don't think we're going to see another keep here, but that's more walls, that's more turrets being taken, more XP for BTG.
That was a cute little rhyme, Tetra. I didn't know you were a poet.
Neither did I, because I didn't even realize I rhymed until you literally just said. As we see the pressure, Webweaver will die, but it's already set up a fair amount of spiders, so they will tank at least a couple tower shots, and it looks like both towers will go down again. Actually, only one tower goes down.
Yep, only one tower goes down. Two keeps are still standing, but the most vital, the most important lane in this map, the top lane, because of the boss pressure, has fallen for CE. So this was a big victory for Beyond the Game, who are looking mighty strong. But we see a couple of power spikes now available for CE. Not to mention the Jimmy, of course, with that additional percentage damage now on his Pepper, but also the level 16 splash bonus damage on Irel's basic attacks. That's going to be a severe threatening tool for the backlines for squishies like Hanzo or Malfurion.
CE, they need one gem, please. Moonfire into so troll. They have 25 gems. They need one turned in out of those 25, but they are getting shut down at every turn. So instead, they look to put some damage onto 619. Wind goes deep onto 3, but the counter stun is good.
Lifebinder.
That's very good. Keeping Diablo alive, letting the full Lightning Breath go off, but where's the follow-up damage? Alufal did as much as he could, but it's not enough, but at least they zoned out for finally KTY to get the turn in.
But they immediately need to fall back and deep-push top and bottom. Look at that. These Webweavers, they're going to take a long time to actually waltz all the way over to the red structures. So Zhuyu and Irel, they're already trying their best to really deep-push these minion waves. But, you know, it's a beginning. It's a start. Every comeback needs to start somewhere. So maybe this is where CE is going to stabilize. But that middle Webweaver, it's going to get shredded within a few seconds.
They're trying to burn it. They're trying to protect it.
Yeah,
they are putting a lot of bodies with this. Looks like Zhuyu's actually going to join them this time instead of zoning from afar. And this might actually allow them to grab their first fort. But here comes a defensive Odin. KTY goes deep, puts the armor onto Wind for this, so they can begin burning this down. Webweaver, Purple Wave. Nice little bit of damage, actually grabbing 3 members there as they continue to pile the pressure. This fort will die. First fort of the game that CE have been able to achieve.
Here we go. It's a pretty decent chunk of bonus experience for CE to catch up at level 20. Speaking of experience, is going to get so dangerously close for Beyond the Game. I'm not sure how many gems they currently have, but if they turn 20 and get either of the big major objectives, like the Webweavers, like the boss, this could be some serious trouble. Now Lufel trying the best he can to maybe double soak. Needs to be careful though. Tykes with the dismount, quarterback, barely missing the Dragon's Arrow. That would have been a dead Rainer 100%.
But Rainer is still here. Here comes a very interesting wraparound from CE against a level 20 composition. Hanzo should probably just pick Bullseye right now. He didn't hit his Dragon Arrow. It's gone for another 50 seconds. Might be worth actually just picking the Bullseye and seeing if they can get an engage off it.
I would agree. I think Bullseye is oftentimes an underrated talent, actually, especially against heroes like Raynor. Like, if you lock him down with those stuns, he's pretty much defenseless, right? And that could be the moment for Tychus and Malthael to burn him down. But looks like Dancing is still holding on to it. That global could still come in mighty handy. Don't get me wrong. The play of the game, even on a smaller battleground like this one, having the ability to wave clear on the lane and then arrive on the opposite one, excuse me, could be a game-changing factor. 10 more, 50 seconds, they need 4 more.
Yeah, 15 seconds until Dragonair is back, so he can absolutely go for play of the game. It's the question of whether they wanted to do something while they were 20, and their opponents weren't, but it looks like they're more than happy to make the passive play.
Passive play it is, and the Banshee pilot ends up going down, unfortunately. 54 in their pockets for Beyond the Game, so it's going to be 56 to 54. It's going to be a clutch race, man, and CE, they've done a good job, you know, not getting caught, not getting exposed.
LOK sneaks his in as well. Both teams battling over the point. Lots of damage. Last rights being dropped. Here comes the Lifebinder. Keeping Wind alive. Lightning Breath is pretty good. Riptire this time again interrupted by the Dragon Arrow every time. But Zuyu's not done. He dives forward looking to follow up on his team as they push further. Said Big Red Button being dodged. KTY getting turned on because he dived a little bit deeper. The Divine Steed though gets him out of danger.
Gets him out of danger. That was a beautiful turnaround for CE. They burned a couple of heroic abilities from their opponents, but they didn't lose anyone. That is massive. Even the Ardent Defender could be saved. Now, let's see what they can make of it. Level 20 is so close. This could be a beautiful power spike for Raynor as well. We saw the Execute earlier. More percentage damage.
Both teams have enough for a turn-in, but BTG are actually doing their turn-in exactly enough on 619. And CE, they are denied more chances to grab counter XP, but they have level 20. Junkrat has pushed up that top lane. If that one minion survives long enough for the Webweaver wave to use it as the spawn point, which it might, it did. That's fantastic news for CE. That's a huge amount of Webweaver duration burned.
That it is. Look at the Webweaver in the top lane. It could have been the most important one, but now it is getting stalled out, and so much time was bought by that one heroic minion. Unfortunately, we didn't catch it on the camera, but that one definitely deserved a promotion. Blessing of the Red, by the way, applied for Alex Strasser, so more HP in all those heroes, if only enough time can be bought.
Wind already has his, because look at that health pool, oh god. It's already pretty high on Diablo anyway, but that's even more. Urel also goes in, a little bit of damage traded out. Urel just got her blessing with the red. Riptire, finally using it, this time just for wave clear though. Finally it actually explodes.
And pretty significant Junkrat damage coming through with the cannonballs too, but they are not letting go. Beyond the Game, they really want to get that middle keep tetcher.
And they're gonna get it. It's not a question of if, it is a question of when and what else they can do otherwise. The final remaining keep of CE begins to go under pressure. Weak spot acquired for that Raynor. Now he's gonna do a little bit of armor reduction every time. We give him some pepper. Gonna be useful against that Garrosh. But Garrosh looking for this opportunity here.
It looks like Beyond the Game is content and happy with the damage they've dealt. Only the core is left standing. Now, mind you, ladies and gentlemen, on other maps, this would be fatal news for CE. But on Tomb of the Spreader Queen, with how small that map is, you can definitely come back from that. You can defend those lanes, especially if you've got heroes like Junkrat already in danger.
Very cheeky dive onto the Garrosh here. It's risky. Taunt already used. Here comes the last rights. Gets nothing. Urel goes deep here. But nice teleport by Malthael, avoiding the danger. He finished, actually, his grenades there. That's quite rare. Junkrat is doing so much damage now as he reigns in the pain.
And not only is that going to be useful for those team fights, right? Because as you said, it's extremely rare that we see the full grenade build completed, but also in those wave clear moments, right? It's so useful to basically have increased damage on your grenades. It's going to allow them to depush the lanes much more quickly. And speaking of depushing lanes, those web viewers are going to buy CE a lot of time, and all it takes for them right now is 1 kill, maybe 2, and keeps on the side of Beyond the Game could crumble as well.
Taste for explosions, plus endless nades, plus cannonballs. Junkrat is now a consistent sieging machine.
He's a pirate.
You can see the big red button is pulled out here just for the wave clear, just to burn out this web weaver. As CE, they're not willing to fight. They're very willing to posture and wait to see if they can catch someone out of position. LOK was pretty far forward, but the rest of the team's already rotated there.
As you said, the big red button with those improved AoE damage tools is going to make fine work of those Web Weavers. The top fort is still standing as well. That's how well Beyond the Game has been able to, you know, keep CE at bay at this point. But the Odin eventually is going to run out here. How much time, how much damage can CE deal onto the enemy team? Is the bottom still pushing?
Rough. Bot is still pushing. Web Weaver does expire though on its own time with its own volition here. So far, no heroics used. Both teams just hovering around the area. 57 gems were acquired in that push though. Yeah, see, able to grab a lot of gems, so available for not another immediate turn-in, but they're certainly on the way.
They're certainly on the way, and that could be huge, man. CE have done such a good job, you know, saving, farming, and not losing those gems. They're also putting them on one member for the most part now. KTY paid most of it. Here comes Junkrat as well. They still need two more. And with this Web Weaver push, with the lane still being okay, you know, still being outpushed quite a lot, they could maybe do it. All they need is 2 more gems, though. Where are they going to find him?
Well, this lane's pushing up very conveniently. Thanks, BTG. That bruiser camp really is helpful because, like I said, that's three gems. KTY's got him. Now,
KTY, protect the MVP. Protect the VIP.
They're holding it. Banshee's dead. Will be respawning a little relatively soon as the turn-in does happen. Malthael, though, getting some cheeky mercenaries for that bottom lane. Now, this time, this is much better. Look at how pushed up the lanes are. Exactly. For those who don't know, Web Weavers have ticking health. You can see they start at full health. From the second they spawn, that health is constantly ticking down, even if they don't take damage. So the further up the lane is pushed, the more value your spiders will get. This is why you will sometimes see a spider die completely unattended, even if there are no minions around.
And slowly but surely, Beyond the Game, they will have to fight, you know, because those Web Weavers, they scale a little better the more time goes by. But most importantly, they have now reached their own keeps. They can no longer let CE do what they want to around the map. They could defend this one last Web Weaver wave, and then they know for sure, you know what? They're not going to have any gems anymore. After this, they're basically sucked dry. They have nothing left there. So if we just hold this one more time, if we just buy enough time, we're eventually going to overpower them. And CE on the flip side, I think they need to make a play.
The defensive play, like you said, is a pretty big deal that CE have been able to do these. But BTG, the defensive that they have put up has really shown off just how passive and how patient this team can play. It kind of has to be, because like you said, this Web Weaver is not going to get anything.
Yeah.
They have to either force a trap or force a boss. Looks like the play is going to be maybe both. Immediately the enemy team shows up. This boss has to be stopped being captured.
Hanzo's bottom.
Hanzo is bottom, but he has played the game.
That is true.
Windows, they need to back up from this. They need to actually take the fight while Hanzo is not here, and don't group up for this incoming Dragon Arrow play of the game. Hanzo comes in, Lifebinder, and the absorption. Yorel is alive. Now this is a fight as we see the abundance. Healing a Luful back to full. Zhuyu pings in the damage, but he's also a little bit low. Quick heal from 365 fixes that. Dragon Queen running low though, as Yorel duels with LOK as they fight over the dominance of this top lane.
Luful is chasing down Dancing. He's trying to fight the bow with a gun. Who's going to reign supreme? For now, it is Jimmy. Wind deep in enemy team backline. He has so much experience. Beautiful ice block to block the Riptide. The taunt is good, but 619
gonna get the kill? Taking so much damage. Finally down. The jump grenades are sieging in. They take them down. LLK is trying to 1 versus 5. Malfurion comes in for the healing. I don't know if he has his revive yet. Tranquility is used. They're like, why are we fighting you? There's keeps to get as they begin moving forward.
Let's check out on the lanes real quick. How many catapults are trickling in into the base of CE? The core is safe for now. They're trying to get more staggered deaths. LK, even if he ends up falling, the level 20 could make him revive. All they're trying to do is buy time, Tetcher.
They are absolutely buying time. They're doing a fantastic job of it. Catapults are hitting into the core. I wouldn't mind if Malthael just ran across the map and started hitting the core at this point. Malfurion went back. It's all about if Malthael can survive. This keep has to die. Hit no more ice block. Lightning breath finishes off Druid. Core is exposed. 17 seconds. They did it. For Diablo. Everyone is dead. Their spawn time as Malthael comes back to life. He has to defend this alone as his core is dying. The CE core is taking damage. This is the delay tactic. He needs to delay. It's not enough. That is GGCE. Take game number 3. Wow. 41% on their core from the catapults. And they move on. They hold on to their 3rd place position. And they will be able to play against SPT tomorrow to fight over that 2nd seed.
absolute incredible comeback here by CE with their backs against